Welcome back to Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us on today's show. We will catch you up to speed with what's going on the Seahawks Free Agency tracker as Seattle has a few players set to make official visits today. We'll tell you who those are and the chances that any of them sign, where they stack up, coming up in just a moment. Before we do, you got to subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, what on earth are you waiting for? Look, we've been all over it this week. We did a couple different live shows. We've been doing the daily news and rumors segments, sometimes doing multiple videos in a day. Our coverage has cranked up a few notches here on Seahawks Today. If you're not already subscribed, you need to be, because we're not stopping. We are putting our pedal to the metal this week and beyond here on the channels. We get ready for the draft. We're talking trades, all of that. We got you covered. Subscribe now for free. Turn on notifications. We'll get started with today's show. So the Seahawks are hosting a couple players for official visits. This feels like high school recruiting, doesn't it? When guys make their official visit and try to see if it's a good fit for them and meet with coaches and staff and all that. And if things go well, then you hope that the guy signs on the dotted line right when they're there for the official visit, if it's a fit for both parties involved. So with that, let's go ahead and get started and tell you who all is coming to town. We begin with Julian Love, the safety with the New York Football Giants. And Julian Love, pretty dynamic player, might I add. And if you go add Julian Love, it makes things very interesting when it comes to that safety room. Let's get to know Julian Love first. A fourth-round selection back in 2019 out of Notre Dame. So he's still a very young football player at this point in time. And a guy that got a lot of playing time last year on a playoff team in the New York Giants that went all the way to the divisional round. He started 16 games in 2022. And if you look at his statistics of what he did and starting those 16 games, he wasn't bad at all. 79 tackles, 1 sack, 5 passes defended, 2 interceptions, and 1 forced fumble. He was a force to be reckoned with there with the New York Giants. So a young player with good experience that's been reliable, all of that adds up to be pretty good. And here's the deal. If you bring in Julian Love, all of a sudden you have several options at the safety position. Hear me out on this. Obviously, Quandre Diggs is going to be a starter. Jamal Adams is coming back from injury. Ryan Neal, you've put that tender on, and Ryan Neal, as we've said many times on this program previously, was rated as the highest graded safety in the entire NFL by PFF this last season and had a breakout year of some sorts. He's expected to come back. So with that said, whether it's some sort of combination where Jamal Adams moves to linebacker and you bring in Julian Love in addition to Ryan Neal, and Ryan Neal backs up Quandre Diggs and Julian Love, or maybe you play 3 safeties potentially at the same time, you have a lot of flexibility, essentially, if you make this type of move and you bring in Julian Love. So with that, what do you think? Should Seattle sign Julian Love? Would you like to see him with the Seattle Seahawks? Let me know in the comment section. Type S for sign, type P for pass. This is our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in. S for sign, P for pass. Let me know. Next up is Devin Bush of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Devin Bush, I got to tell you, we've seen the good and we've seen the bad out of Devin Bush. And when he's good, he's very good. When he's bad, it's a lot left to be desired. Former first-round pick out of Michigan back in 2019, was an all-rookie team member. But you look at the statistics of this past season with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it was a rough going for Devin Bush. He just left a lot to be desired out there. 81 tackles, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions, 0 forced fumbles, 0 fumble recoveries. I'm seeing a lot of zeros. That doesn't look good for me. And we're not just stat watching here. I mean, it was not a great year for Devin Bush there in Pittsburgh. Look, the Seahawks, I'll say this, as far as Devin Bush goes, the case to be made for Devin Bush, if you want to go down that route, is that for Devin Bush, the case that you'd be making is that he's a young football player, that he's had his moments, that he just needs stability into being a good system and a good defense, and Seattle could potentially provide that. That's the case you can make there. I lean towards there's a lot more bad than good. I'm out on the idea of Devin Bush. And the other part of that, too, if you bring in Devin Bush, then you can't bring in Bobby Wagner probably. You probably have to choose one or the other. I doubt you live in a world where the two coexist in the linebacker positions for the Seattle Seahawks team. So not only are you taking a big risk potentially if you bring in Devin Bush, but you're losing out on the player that I think we all really want to see in Seattle in Bobby Wagner. I guess Devin Bush, maybe there's potential that he's the backup plan of some sorts. If you can't land Bobby Wagner, maybe you go to Devin Bush, but I hope and pray that Seattle is not saying to themselves, yeah, we'd rather have Devin Bush than Bobby Wagner. I hope that's not the conversations they're having right now. So let me know, which linebacker would you rather have? Obviously, you can tell how I feel about this, or where my opinions are. But what is your opinion on this? You want to go with the young linebacker in Devin Bush and try to test out and see what potential he could potentially have and get him at a cheaper price? Or do you want to go with Bobby, who we know is good? He is a bit older. He would cost much more than we would see from Devin Bush. What say you? Let me know in the comment section. Type BW for Bobby Wagner. Type DB for Devin Bush. Let me know in the comment section below. Today's show is just around the corner from St. Patrick's Day. And so with that, we are still selling these awesome St. Patty's Day T-shirts and St. Patrick's Day attire so you can be rocking out with your Hawk out representing your Seattle Seahawks. And I got to tell you, here's the thing. I know St. Patty's Day is coming up here, but just because St. Patty's Day might be ending doesn't mean you can't wear this Seahawks stuff all the time. Look, this green, it's going to stand out. If you want to represent your Seattle Seahawks, you are going to do it loudly and proudly if you're wearing this Seahawks gear, folks. You're not going to want to miss out on this opportunity. Best part about it, too, is that it's on sale, 25% off. What are you waiting for? Go ahead and get your Seahawks St. Patrick's Day gear, 25% off, while supplies last. Chatsports.com/Seahawks Green to get yours today. That's chatsports.com/Seahawks Green. One more player on the list is Lonnie Johnson, who has been around for a little bit to a few different teams. We've already seen him in Tennessee, in Kansas City, and in Houston. And you go back to Lonnie Johnson to 2019 when he was a second-round pick coming out of the University of Kentucky. There was a lot of hype, a lot of optimism, and things kind of have left a lot to be desired at this point with what he's shown at the table. We know he has potential. We know that the talent is there, but he hasn't been able to put it all together. There's a lot of things that have stood in his way. Last season, just 11 tackles, no passes defended, no interceptions, no forced fumbles, no fumble recoveries. This could be a cheap discount that I think what's different about this as opposed to Devin Bush is that if you bring in Devin Bush, there's an expectation for him to get playing time and to be a key role in the Seahawks defense. In the case of Lonnie Johnson, we already found out yesterday, you're bringing back Mike Jackson. You already have Kobe Bryant. You already have Tariq Woolen. Lonnie Johnson's just hoping to get a little bit of playing time as a fourth or fifth corner option potentially, okay? Maybe he competes with Mike Jackson or whatever it may be at best to be a number 3 corner, a nickelback, but he's not, you wouldn't sign him to be a starter. So this is a low-risk situation for Lonnie Johnson as opposed to what it was with Devin Bush. So that's the difference in this scenario here. So I'm not opposed to giving Lonnie Johnson a shot, seeing what he can bring to the table, and figuring it out from there as far as I'm concerned. So with that, should the Seahawks sign Lonnie Johnson? Y for yes, N for no. What do you think? Should the Seahawks make a move here to bring in the young corner? Let me know. Y for yes, N for no if Seattle should sign Lonnie Johnson. As always, you can follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Tyler Jones Live, talking about your Seattle Seahawks. More to come here out the next few days as free agency frenzy continues. I got you covered. I'll see you next time here on the channel. Thanks for joining us.